You are watching T to the M to the IDD.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? T to the M to the IDD, here to give you 5 reasons why the Godox AD300 Pro is one of the best strobes that you can use whenever you travel. If you've been watching my content, you know that I travel a lot. And so since I travel a lot, I have been able to see from the strobes that I have which one is more efficient and useful whenever I travel to different places. Now, I've been faced with all sorts of lighting conditions, and I have come to my conclusion, and I want to share the 5 reasons why I believe the Godox AD300 is going to be your best option. Now, number 1, let's start off with the form factor and weight. Okay, if you look at this light, a lot of people will compare this to an AD200 in terms of being more travel efficient. But when I actually look at them side by side, this and the AD200 are the same length. Now, the AD300 does have a little bit more girth than the AD200, but the AD200, when you use the bare bulb attachment, is actually longer than this strobe. And so this one, it's in terms of form factor, fits right inside of my bag, and I can drop it in my bag just like this. Now the weight, it does have a little bit more weight than the AD200, but now if you look at the AD400, AD600, there is no comparison that this is like the best common ground in terms of form factor for your bag and in terms of weight, because we want to travel light, right? Relatively light if we're going to another place. So this can go right inside your bag and there's no problem for that. Now, the second reason why I really believe that this is going to be your best option is because of the build quality. Now, take this with a grain of salt, but personally, I do not put any strobes or anything of that nature inside of a bag and put it under the plane. Okay, that's just a no-go. Any of my lighting equipment, it is going to go inside of my bag with no questions asked. And so having that in mind, I believe that this is the perfect build quality even if I'm carrying it on, right? So one of the things that I like is that it has this protecting layer right here that actually protects the bare bulb. And the bare bulb actually has a glass protecting dome over top of it that actually protects the bare bulb itself. And funny enough, I actually broke this dome and had to replace it because this AD300 broke. It dropped a few times, and so one of the last times the dome actually cracked. And so with this build quality, I think this light had to drop over over 5 times, and yet it is still going. So I can attest that this AD300 is completely durable and resilient for most applications. Okay, the third reason that I believe this is going to be your best option is because of the power output. At 300 watts, this is going to be able to handle almost anything. And I want to say almost because I have been in every scenario possible and I've been able to get the job done with this AD300 Pro. Now, one caveat to that is when I am in harsh lighting, people underestimate the power reduction when you go into high speed sync. And so one of the things that I will say, if you're looking for an option to help you on those bright sunny days, is to consider an ND filter. When I was in the harsh lighting in this particular scenario, I was using a 6 to 9 stop ND filter, and I was at about 7 stops. And that kept me at a comfortable place, which was out of high speed sync and allowed me to get the max power from my AD300. And even still, I was only at half power. So that lets you know I still had a little bit of room if I needed more power. And so that was in a bare bulb situation. And so I may need a little bit more power if I attach a softbox beauty dish on this AD300. So the power that you get with this form factor, I think, is second to none and makes it a great option for traveling for photography. The reason number 4, I'm going to have to go with the attachments on this. Okay, if you're traveling, you want to travel efficiently, you want to travel light. One of the things that really drew my eye with this particular unit was that they actually have their own mount on the front. Okay, so if you look on the front of the Godox AD300, it has a mount, and that mount I use all the time. Now, that is what this softbox is here. This is the 33.4 deep parabolic softbox, which goes directly on the front of the AD300, which makes it a nice traveling companion. And so that's one of the things that when I thought about traveling, I thought about efficiency, and was something that really caught my eye when I looked at having one strobe to travel with. Now, the one that does accompany this is the Godox V1, but this is my main one light setup strobe, hands down.
Ok.
1, 2, 3.
Vous êtes en train de regarder T to the M to the IDD. Eh.
Now, the last reason that I believe the Godox AD300 Pro would be your best option is because you have flexibility with this light. And what I mean by that is several things. If you have the Godox AD200, then you have the batteries, and those batteries can go inside of this unit. And so you have multiple battery sources, which will come in handy with some of the cons that I will talk about. The second thing that I want to talk about, just in terms of the flexibility, is the fact that you have a flash unit, but then you also have a modeling lamp as well. And the modeling lamp for me has come in handy in those night scenes when I'm doing night photography. And I just want to bump that ISO just to use the modeling lamp and still get a nice image. And so that right there kind of gives me like a 2-in-1. And so I could use it for the flash feature or the modeling lamp. Now, of course, all things are not great, right? And so 2 things that occurred to me when I thought about this being an overall great travel strobe. One thing is that it actually comes with a handle that you can mount on the bottom. And that handle is a bit flimsy. So since it is a bit flimsy, I still opt to mount this with the S2 bracket because it's just more secure for me. And then when you start putting soft boxes and things like that on the front of the AD300 with the adapter that comes with it, it starts to bend and not stay in the position that you want it to. So this is something that's a little more secure for me. And so I opt to go with this right here. Now, the next thing is, which I was talking about, the Godox AD200 batteries, if you own one of those, is that these the battery life on this particular unit is not as great as the 8200, which I would expect, right? But for some reason, it does seem as though it does die a little bit quicker than I would want it to. And so that is one of the cons that I have to mention. Although in my trips, it has not gotten as low as I thought it would, but it is something to note. So you are in good luck if you do have 8200s on hand, because an extra battery will be great for this unit. But with all things said, I definitely still stand beside this Godox AD300 Pro and think that this would be the best option for anybody traveling for photography, hands down. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I definitely do not, I don't even consider the 8400 and 8600 when I talk about traveling, because those are bulky systems. And so when I think about what I really want to travel with, I want something in the middle. And this kind of fits the bill for right in the middle. Let me know. T to the M to the IDD. Till the next video. Peace.
What is going on, guys? You just tuned in to T to the M to the IDD. And if you enjoy this content, make sure you subscribe to the channel. And if you really enjoy the content, check out some more of the videos that you see right here. Oh yeah, and hit that like button for me.